Hey, Mr. Garrett, you are live, just FYI. He's gonna play your music in a minute, and then I'm gonna do my thing with underwriting and make an announcement, and then you're up. Okay, so let's have you scoot over that way a little bit so that they can see both of us. We need to get our ratings up. People, you know what to do when you come on in. You like us. You hashtag the same hashtag, Socrates Speaks. It's SOCRATES Speaks plural. Come over here.
No, you go ahead on.
No, it's your show.
But you finna do what you do.
I can do that from right here, Mr. Garrett. Me and this together.
Big eye.
Oh, pops. Freaking tired.
You got the hat on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I shaved my head off today, but my
I
head
saw
is
it.
cold. Yes, I love it. I love it.
Give me a little piece of paper, man. Don't leave it alone.
That's all. Oh. We're ready. Good evening. We're ready? All right. Good evening, you guys. And again, welcome every Tuesday. As you know, we're right here on There we go. You might have to turn it on for you guys to hear us. All right. We're right here on WNPR every Tuesday evening, 90.1, the voice of the community. I am Tamika Garrett, one of the producers for this show, along with DC White on the other side of the mirror. Mr. Garrett's here. It's Socrates Speaks. He's going to be speaking with you about, I really never know what he's going to talk about. So we'll see that in just a moment. I'm sure some great things going on in the city and around this beautiful country of ours. I do want to take a moment to breathe and just pray for those individuals in Puerto Rico, Las Vegas, Houston, and so forth. And so if we could just do a moment of silence for them, that would be great. All right, so we are live on, DC said we're live on YouTube. We're live on Socrates Garrett's page, the one that's SOC Garrett, so you can check us out there. And I'm looking for something really quick. I made a post earlier and I just wanted to share this before I pass the mic over to Mr. Garrett. This is my personal opinion, not of the station nor of Mr. Garrett. I'm sure he didn't even see this today. But I was sitting in Barnes & Noble earlier today, and this is what I wrote. I'm in amazement at all the things taking place all around me. When everything hits home for people, they tend to act, react, or research. I'm sitting at my office table, hence I was at Barnes & Noble's, right, at the bookstore, waiting for someone. And I'm thinking about what the hell is going on. Is Jehovah God about to call me home? If so, is my eternal home up or down? Which direction will I be going in? But before you judge, you better ask yourself that same question. Where are you going? There's a force inside of me like I'm on a war zone. I want me and my family to come out of it alive while bringing and assisting as many others as we can. I'm focused right now on Mississippi. Let's see, there's the Jackson Police Department fighting for minority and small business contracts, the airport takeover, and segregation even. And yes, I said it, there's still some segregation going on here. And that's just to name a few. Well, tune in tonight, which is now we're here at WMPR. And I wanted to give a special thanks to all the ladies and men that have supported Stilettos on the Pavement thus far. It is now a 501c3. Woo-hoo, God is absolutely wonderful. And we have some great things coming up for Flats on the Pavement, which is the same concept, but it's for young girls that are in college, ages 18 and 25. And our goal is to teach them about entrepreneurship, the importance of giving back in our communities, and building and maintaining professional relationships. So we look forward to that. Thank you, and shout out to Dr. Sandra Carr at Tougaloo for doing that partnership with us. We greatly appreciate it. I have several people on my team, and I want to thank specifically Latasha McGill and Janitra Robinson for your unwavering support from day one. You guys saw the vision. You felt that it was something that you could put your name on, and that meant a lot to me. And because I know it wasn't because of my type A personality. I just want to give you guys the encourage to hang in there, keep pushing, keep praying. And whatever is God's will, that is exactly what will take place. And I also want to say shout out to Felix Anderson, who is not my mentor, but I say that a lot, and he gives me great advice. He is the author of Wake Your Successful Self Up, and that's what we have to do. We have to begin to wake our successful selves up here, Mr. Garrett. I think that you talk about it quite often about, getting a piece of the pie and the percentages with contracts and things of that nature. But the ones that, small businesses, and that's who I really work with a lot, entrepreneurs, you don't even have to get a contract, but you still need to realize that there's enough blessings in business here for all of us. So I just want us, our slogan now with Tamika Garrett, which is my new brand, is about collaborative and not competitive. I want us to do a much better job of that. So you can speak on that if you like, and I'm sure you have other things that you've jotted down here. So if you could play this song for me, the one I told you to play, DC, and then when we come back, Mr. Garrett will take it from here. Thank you. The Backstabbers. So I'll talk, so we won't have, dead air while he's doing that. But I have had, a rough couple of days. But some people know that I suffer from anxiety sometimes. But what I realized in talking to my pastor was she made me believe, understand that maybe that was God's way of slowing me down so that I could pay more attention to his direction in my life and stay focused and not going back to get people who don't really do anything for me. Like, I promote and I elevate people, but I don't always get that, and sometimes it does really hurt. So I have to let God do his thing and shift some people and shift some things out of my life so I can go where he wants to go with maybe a different set of people who understand and push me to get what I want, but they understand that it's a beneficial, mutual business relationship. Here's my song for y'all. I know my style is a little different than yours, but after you do all of these things, God has the last say so, and it's not up to us. You just continue to be kind to people and do what you're supposed to do and get your money. That's why my check today, I had to stay focused. Cut the check. Get your money. We're in business. Mr. Gary tells me all this time. Unless you're doing a hobby, you need to look at your bottom line. It needs to be profitable. Otherwise, what are you doing? So I have to remind myself these things. Wearing this shirt kind of helps me to do that. All right, DC, we're ready. You ready, Mr. Garrett? You have the mic.
Okay.
So, hold on. There you go.
Good evening, listening audience. It's always good to be in the studio. Once again, we have an opportunity to share ideas and concepts with the world. You know, we're live streaming, we're on YouTube, and so we realize now that when we speak, we have to be cognizant of the fact that we're speaking to a large audience. And everybody has challenges, and everyone sees things a little bit differently. And so, you know, I have to be reminded, and I'd like to remind you, that dreams are personal, that we choose our paths and we explore the opportunities and we endure the hardships and we celebrate and rejoice on the victories. But at the end of the day, we're following our own dream. And that's the way it ought to be. You know, we live in the greatest country in the world where we have an opportunity to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so it just all boils down, what are we going to do with that time? And so, you know, tonight I think I'm turning a new leaf. And I think that for so long that we have championed the causes of African Americans. We have engaged in every conversation with the outcome designed to be that which is best for a segment of our population. And I realize that because that segment has been left out for so long until someone needs to advocate on their behalf. But you got to realize that everybody's pursuing their own dream. So we're going to talk about a few things, and we're going to talk about more about, you know, how we need to work to accomplish our goals, and how do we choose our teammates, and how do we design successful models to be successful in the marketplace. And so tonight I want to talk about the House bill that was recently passed by the legislature that said that all contracts, all purchases for goods and services over $5,000 must be advertised through an online portal. Now, you know, I've always said that African American leaders had an opportunity to really address the poverty in our communities simply by making sure that those opportunities for small purchases were afforded to small businesses within our community. Well, the state, the legislature has decided to close that loophole. So now all purchases will be going through an online portal. Now what that means is that if there's a $10,000 purchase order for ballpoint pens, that companies out of California, companies out of Florida will have an opportunity to submit a quote. Now, we realize what Walmart did to the small business person in our communities. Just imagine for a moment what that will do to small, disadvantaged businesses in our city, in our counties, in our state. It means that it will become increasingly more difficult to start a business. It will become increasingly more difficult to be successful in this marketplace. Now, I have mixed emotions about this because I was very unhappy with the fact that African American leaders were not taking advantage of the opportunity to secure goods and services from small businesses where they had the discretion to pick up the phone and get 2 telephone quotes and go with the best offerer, knowing that both of those telephone quotes could have been to small minority-owned businesses in our community. And so no one was taking advantage of that. And we fought for that, and we talked about that, and we spoke to the Black Caucus about that over the years. And we said, this is a way that you can be meaningful, that have a meaningful impact in our community and get opportunities to our people so that we can eradicate poverty. When we eradicate poverty, we eradicate all things wrong in our community. And so we didn't take advantage of it when we had the opportunity. So it probably won't mean a lot now that we no longer have the opportunity. It means that small minority-owned businesses have to become competitive in every way. It means that there is no targeted goals and objectives to assure that you are part of mainstream. And so we lose. Once again, the small minority-owned businesses suffer and get kicked in the teeth once again. But you know, I was also watching and listening to the debate on the city council this past week, where an African American owned firm, Banks, Philly and White, was the current contract holder with the city of Jackson to do their audits. And so it was recommended that the city no longer go with this African American owned firm, and a majority owned firm was recommended. Now, let me just say this, because when I say I'm turning a new leaf, that means that the black leaf time has expired. It means that we're going to have to join the mainstream, and we're going to have to do business with those people who value what we bring to the table. If we don't bring anything to the table, we won't have any value. And so it doesn't bother me as much that we lose that opportunity. Because as I was saying, I was watching the council presentation, and there was vigorous debate. And once again, I want to send a shout out to Councilman Kenny Stokes. You know, Kenny and I have been friends for a long, long time. He's a warrior. He's a fighter. He's an advocate. He's a champion for black businesses and for small people in the community. He's named more streets than anyone else in this city or in this state for African Americans. And while sometimes I would say, you know, we need to be focused on things greater than naming streets in this town, we need to be focusing on the economic impact of everything that we do. But when you realize you can't impact or affect change in your community, all that's left for you to do to recognize the contributions that we have made is to name something after somebody. So Brother Stokes does what he can. He uplifts where he can. He doesn't need any votes for him to identify a person that's worthy of recognition, to give them a plaque at the city council meeting. He can do that all by himself. And so he does that. So shouts out to Kenny for all that you do. And hope you stay healthy and you keep fighting and you do what you think is right. On the opposite end of this speech, though, is two council people that I really think we need to take a look at. That's Councilman Melvin Priester and Councilperson Tillman, who voted to take the contract from Banks, Finley and White and give it to a majority firm. And so I've noticed over the years, this is not an isolated incident. I've noticed over the years that these brothers don't have passion for the struggle of African American owned businesses. All of you know that I was terribly disappointed to lose the contract for hauling biosolids to a white female-owned firm out of Philadelphia, Mississippi. That was disappointing for me. I was disappointed in the leadership. I was disappointed in the African American leaderships on the council that would do something like that. And so, it just continues. It just continues. And it gets worse. We're going backwards. We're at a point now where the lowest amount of participation to small business firms, African American firms, than we've had in history. The EBO plan, where is it now? Where did it go? Who is the director? What happened? So it appears to me that we're no worse off with majority leadership. It appears to me that small business people, we have to network with those that we can bring value to in the private sector. It's tough out there. But there are doors that will open and relationships to be made that will see you through. And so I'm now going to advocate on behalf of those individuals that are committed to the values that I represent. Be they black, be they white, be they yellow, be they red. I'm going to work with the individuals that believe in the principles that I believe in. Hard work. Get up every day, early. Work hard. Go to school. Support your church. Help the less fortunate. I'm going to support and work with individuals who see things through the prism that I see them. And so I'm not just telling you this so that you'll know what I'm going to do. I'm telling you this because the bridge is out. And It's time to look at things differently. Now, our city is under siege, not from external forces, but internal to the African American community. And so a lot of things are happening. Rankin County has a permit to build a wastewater treatment plant in Rankin County. Means that they don't want Jackson to treat its wastewater. They've secured the permit to build their own plant and to not pay Jackson to treat it for them, which will devastate our fees as we have tax increases and we have all kinds of 1% and 3% and another 2% on a convention center. As our taxes continue to skyrocket, our opportunities continue to decrease. That's not a good way to look at things. That's not very popular. But that's what we have. And if we lose the wastewater treatment plant, we'll do another tax increase. Our airport under siege. Why? Why is it under attack? Because the vulnerability is there because we fail to do the kinds of things to involve the economic increase in our community that will cause an uprising. Everybody always says, follow the money. Why would they want to take it over? Follow the money. Well, the irony of all that is, if you follow the money today, it's still going in other communities. So what do we lose? What do we really lose if they take it over? Well, we lose the ability to appoint African Americans to the airport board. And so what will that mean to the small business community that we lost that? Not a lot. Not a lot. So, we have to ask ourselves, what are we fighting for? What is it that we really want to see happen? Why do we want to control the airport? Why? Well, if you're a board member, I guess you will get the ability to fly free and go to conferences and learn new things and make new friends. But what does it mean to the community that you represent? How many black businesses are prospering because we control the airport? I always go back to Atlanta. Mayor Maynard Jackson. He controlled the airport. He made a difference. He made multiple successful businesses in Atlanta. Some of the things he did, I'm sure, if we were challenged, they would say it's unconstitutional to have a mandatory 25% set aside and or ordinance guaranteeing 25% of every contract goes to a minority firm. Someone would say, you can't do that. Okay, then someone ought to say that. But here in our black-led town, airport, school board, we can't do a disparity study that proves to the federal government that what they already know, that we have historically been left out and discriminated against and excluded from the process. We can't find the funds to fund the disparity study. Okay. So, what does it mean? Then we go to Jackson Public Schools. We got a board. At the board meetings, I never hear the discussion. Well, what impact will this have on the economic inclusion of our minority business community? How does this policy impact them? I don't hear that. Well, then if you're not there to advocate for that, then what difference does it make to the small business community, or which I represent? Not much. But yet when the state attempts to take it over, the first thing that you hear people screaming is they're grabbing the money, follow the money. They're going to take the money for themselves. But we wouldn't do anything with it for ourselves. So, what difference does it make? The capital city complex carved out an area of the city that is going to be governed and controlled by a non-elected board. Some say that's bad. But if we weren't participating with the elected board, what difference does it make? Our chances are equally as good or better with the board that runs the capital city complex. I will guarantee you that the opportunity to repair streets and water and sewer lines for Garrett Enterprises will increase under that board over what it is with the elected body. Guaranteed. But yet, I spend all my time fighting folk.
Who fights you?
That say that we have to stop the majority community from encroaching into the area that we have domain over. I spent all my time fighting for that in the past. But why? For what? So we have to look at things differently. The 1% sales tax. The 1% sales tax had a black program manager, IMS. their contract was not renewed. Why? Why can't we have an African American program manager over the 1% sales tax in a predominantly controlled and populated city? Why? What's wrong with that? They got an African American program manager on the consent decree, all world, in Memphis, Tennessee. Why can't we? Oh, I forgot. Memphis, Tennessee's got a white mayor. Oh.
That just happened, though.
So we are going to have to look at things a little bit differently. And so it's going to take relationship skills now to go out and go to the Neshoba County Fair, where all of the decision makers will be in attendance. Not the black decision makers. You probably have to go to Tunica during the Black Caucus event to meet with the black decision makers. And I suggest that you go. But I also suggest that you go to Neshoba County. Don't have any heartburns about that. If a white female firm from Neshoba County can come into our market and relieve us of our tax dollars, then certainly we can go to Philadelphia and dine and eat hot dogs and be festive, and listen to speeches, and say, hey, I'm here. I want to be a part of the mainstream. I'm here. I realized that what I was doing and what I've been trying to do not working. It's not working. So I got to do something different and be happy with it. And then listen to all of the interesting people that sometimes referred to as haters. Listen to all of them say, well, you know, he is a Republican. Well, you know, he doesn't like black people. Listen to all of the foolishness that we have to fight through. You have to fight people because they won't help you, and then you have to fight them because you want to leave. They don't want you to go nowhere.
They don't want you to go anywhere, but they don't want you to have anything either. And I just can't be quiet anymore about it. I'm liking what you're saying. I am Mr. Garrett. And I know you're looking at me like, what the heck are you saying? But you're absolutely right. I mean, it makes no sense. I've only been here for 4 years. And for the life of me, I never understood why you stayed. But then when I got here, I grew to love the city all over again. But you are going to have to do something different.
Yeah. And so, you know, it's time. It's time. And so I allowed my children to follow me into this wilderness. And I did that because I believe in the American dream. I believe that sacrifice and hard work yields great dividends. I believe in being the master of your own fate and being in charge of your destiny. I believe in the American principles. And so I allowed them to follow me into this wilderness. But I have decided to disperse them into other areas of the land.
And we're going to get back to that after this call.
Caller, you're on the air. Can you hear me, caller?
Oh, okay, I got it. The volume.
Caller,
Hello?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I never could get to understand. I know you have been doing that wastewater thing for a long time. What was their main reason for not giving it to you? I mean, you have the know-how, you have the equipment, you have the personnel and all that. And I don't see why it was given to somebody who had no experience in this and everything. Our time,
That's right, Carla. There is no logic behind that. That is just one of those situations where, we hate to see one of us grow. We hate to see that. And so that's what I'm talking about tonight. We got to do something different.
You had the African American, most of the city councils and everything. They know the kind of work what you have been doing and the work you have been doing, and it shouldn't be no problem for them to grant you the contract.
Should not have been.
It should not have been no problem for them granting you the contract.
Not at all. Should have been a slam dunk. We were best qualified, most capable. The history had 3,600 acres of land, had all their own trucks and spreaders, all of the equipment. Black man in the town, capable of doing the work, and you give it to a white female company in this Neshoba, Mississippi, and Priester, and just orchestrated that. He orchestrated that. He attacked Yaba on every occasion, and white folks saw blood and they joined in, and Wilson Carroll and Northside Sun, and they alleged something crooked and ugly. And the only thing that was ugly about it was a black man trying to grow and become a part of mainstream America. That was all it was.
Thank you.
So I appreciate your call, but our time is getting near, and so we'll talk again later. So, what we got to do now is got to disperse these kids into areas where they can network with like-minded people. Like-minded, not skin tone, not diets, not because we like the same kind of food, do the same kind of dance, like the same kind of music, but like-minded. Where you trying to go? What you trying to do? Who you want to be? I want to be a part of that band where we're going to work together. We're going to help each other. We're going to support one another. We're going to train and cross-train. We're going to share opportunities. If I'm on the job, you on the job. If you on the job, I'm on the job. We're part of our team. Like-minded people. You see, it's really the way it's done. It's really the way it's done. Even when, as a boy, I would go rabbit hunting, we go as a team. We knew what the rabbit was going to do. We knew that he was going to circle back and come back to the same spot that we jumped him at. We knew that. We knew not to take a shot across one another. We knew exactly how far we could go. Like-minded. And if you're not like-minded, then you're not equally yoked. You're not going to get it done. You see, little things. Now, when opportunities exist for black folk to bring on black folk to, they know the struggle associated with what's going on, that we take that shot. And I have done that over the years, and I'm going to continue to do that because I believe in this network. So we already knew that if Garrett Enterprises got a job and it had electrical requirements, we already knew that income was rolling. We already know that if I got a job like recently had at Tougaloo for concrete sidewalks, that Floyd Blackman out of Canton, Mississippi is rolling. We just got through paving the streets and the entrance in Tougaloo College. We already knew that Mississippi Paving, a black man out of Columbus, was rolling. We already know that if I got a job that's got asbestos removal in it, that Joseph Antoine is rolling. If we're hauling dirt, every black contractor with a truck know they rolling. When we had the prime contractor do debris removal, I had 10 black contractors throughout this city. I did not let the white firms from Louisiana roll over the top of them and take their work because they had bigger, brighter, and shinier equipment. I didn't do that. Folk roll when we roll, and they know that. And when we had a contract to do street lights and energy savings with Siemens, Astro and BJ know they were rolling. And when they wanted to go into program management, and Marcus Wallace was hauling dirt and debris, when we talked, I said, Marcus, you in the wrong lane. Program management is the future. Invest in that now. So he know when I'm rolling, he's rolling. His stepfather, Father Jerry Owens, like-minded people, saw me as a young man when it went into the clothing store at Rick and Vic's and said, here's a suit I want you to have. Said, I'm giving it to you. So I want you to look good when you go out there and try to sell them copy machines. Like-minded people. I had the opportunity to return the favor to him. It was an honor, a privilege to be able to do so. Get inside of your network, folk. Get inside of it. Work together. When your network rolls, you roll. I had an opportunity to talk to Neil Schaefer. He was in Ireland, Mississippi. Called me back from Ireland and said, "What you want, Socrates?" I said, "I want to team with you on an opportunity that I've identified in Texas. I have limited experience, but you have lots of experience. Can we team together?" He said, "I've always wanted to team with you." Sure we can. So True North and SGE teamed on the project. Daryl Reeves in Jacksonville, Florida, calling every day. Bo in Houston, Texas, calling every day. Great meetings out there with people who want to see you move forward. Get in our network. Those of us who think alike got to roll together. Those of us that don't, they got to roll differently. That's the way we're going to roll from here on out. Gonna roll with the big boys. Gonna roll with the white folk. Gonna roll with the black folk. Gonna roll with the Indians and the Mexicans.
Right.
We're gonna roll with those that want to get going where we're going. It's just the way it's gonna have to be. I'm getting ready to close out. Turn the program back over to Mika. But I want to remind everybody, let them know that they're going to have the Legacy Ball for Alcorn State University on the 28th of October. I have the privilege of chairing the fundraising committee. And I've been running hard and working a lot and haven't had an opportunity to do a real good job. But that's extremely important. And so I'm going to be calling a lot of my friends in my network over the next 5-6 days. We need to raise some money, sponsor the Legends Ball, give recognition to those that have made significant achievements. Recognize folks that achieve. I don't care who they are. Recognize folks that achieve, because people who are achievers is who we represent. Got to spend all our time over there. Can't spend any of our time fighting with people who don't get it. Don't want to get it, will never get it. Got to let them alone. Got to let them have to themselves what they want.
All right, Mr. Garrett.
So until next time, let's roll together. Those that are of like minds. Y'all take care. I'll see you next week.
Okay, so before you go, Mr. Garrett, this is surprising because we never know what we're going to talk about until we actually get here. I kind of have a plan about what I have to say, but he kind of wings it. He's just that good. So I'm glad he talked about a couple of things, and that's rolling with those who are rolling with you. Stilettos has always been about collaborating and uplifting. That is our endeavor. It's for that women to support one another, knowing it's enough business and blessings out here. But after a while, you kind of get, and I'm speaking for myself, for those of you guys out there listening, it's stilettosonthepavement.com is our website. Our next experience is Friday, December the 8th. It's going to be at a secret location. You don't want to miss it. We only have like 30 seats left and about 5 exhibitor tables, so you can contact me or Janitra. I'm sorry, not Janitra. You can contact me or Amanda Jones. Janitra is on our Flats on the Pavement. Again, that's for young women 18 to 25 to get them across that stage to graduate. Our first one is happening at Tougaloo. We are going to circle back to JSU because it took a little bit longer than I anticipated, so we had to move on. And then we're going to go to Mr. Garrett's All-Corn University, excuse me. But I want to say that this is my own personal experience, and I was quite devastated. I have intentionally brought women together and uplifted them and elevate them and their brain and encourage them to do great things. And that's the purpose that I thought God was telling me to do, which it was. But it also hurt, and I began to realize that, okay, I'm doing all of these for these individuals, and then I look at my pockets and I look at who shares my stuff on social media, and it's not the same thing. It's not mutually giving back. So when I told you I had these long nights with God, and he basically told me to stop doing that. Don't go back and get other people when they're not ready. When you ladies are ready, I will still be there because I'm just that type of person. But I got to roll on, in the words of Mr. Garrett, without you. But when you are ready to be collaborative and not competitive, and understand that my success does not determine yours, but it doesn't make yours any less. Like, there's no need to hate on someone else. My thing is, when you want to do better in whatever your industry is, for instance, when I moved here, I knew I was going to be an event planner, no doubt about it, along with all the other stuff. They told me, you need to go talk to Wendy Putt, which I did. You need to talk to Thomas Roots. I went to the best, and this is what they did. Call this person, do this. They gave it to me willingly because they saw my passion. They didn't hold on to resources like some of y'all do. I wish y'all would change, but eventually you will. I'm going to keep on praying about it. But now I got to move on. Then Melissa with DMD, I believe is, excuse me if I said it wrong, but she's the exact same way. So stop holding on to certain things when you could help somebody else. You are blessed to be a blessing. And take it as an honor if someone comes to you, like say, hey, Mr. Garrett, you're the best in construction. You're the best in program management. Let me sit at your feet. Let me learn from you. You know, it's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's actually the smart thing to do. I'm going to close out on this because I want to make sure that I'm being careful about my words, because I'm a little bit disappointed in a whole lot of people. But I have to learn that it's okay, only because I didn't do it for you to do anything back to me. I just thought that if I put you over here, you would at least say, okay, well, let me see how I can help Tamika at some point, or help the next person. Didn't have to be me, but anywho, don't want to go on a tangent. So I want to say shout out to Gwen and Mel. They have a company. It's called GMN Catering and Decorating. They do majority of the decorating and catering for Next Level. They are for hire. We are working on a couple of different things, like I stated earlier, at Next Level. So bear with us. We're in transition because we have a lot of things going on. If you call the number for Next Level, leave a message or text message. That doesn't mean, you guys, you don't have to keep calling back to back to back to back. Someone is going to call you back. Just give us a moment, okay? The other thing I wanted to talk about was this major thing that's coming up. People are calling every day about it, and they're really excited. It is Sunday, October the 29th at 4 o'clock. It's the Gospel Celebration and Salute to Lee Williams. We are the facility rental building. We do not sell tickets for this event there, but you can get the tickets at their website, and it's praiseinthehouseradio.com, or their phone number is 662-356-1025. We would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the Garretts here, the Pickett's as well, and the entire team over at Next Level, to thank you guys, those of you who supported us within this year. It will be a year this month. And those of you who didn't, but maybe shared it on Facebook, we really appreciate that. And even those who had a comment about how we can improve, we encourage feedback, because if you don't tell us, we don't know. We won't do everything that you say, but we do appreciate the feedback. So with that being said, I think I'm going to kind of stop here, but I do want to do a plug. Mr. Garrett, don't get mad at me, but Mr. Garrett's raising all this money for All-Corn University, right? That's wonderful. So then when you finish with them, I need you to help me raise money for Flats on the Pavement, which again is for the girls 18 to 25 to get them. I didn't graduate college. I tried and tried and tried. And I know some people will say, well, it's never too late. I understand that. I have a lot of certificates. I laid lots of money without a degree in California. So I'm okay with that. But I want to encourage these girls that no matter what comes your way, get your degree, because nobody can take that piece of paper away from you. It does serve its purpose along with hands-on training. So Mr. Garrett, I'm asking him, you gotta see me live, right? So he can't say I didn't. When he finishes with this, I need his help to raise money for the girls with Flats on the Pavement. We have some exciting things coming down the pipeline. So I will share that with you when I have my thoughts a little bit more organized. And next week I'll have Thomas Roots and Shannon Brown talking about the fashion show coming up with Robert Ford. He's launching his business line, Business Suits, but he's also giving several suits to young high school students, and that's just actually phenomenal. I don't know much details about it, but Shannon Brown, Thomas Roots will be here next week. I want you guys to continue to pray for those as we started, because yesterday it was someone else, today it could be us, so we never know. When you can help somebody, I say do it. Thank you guys for listening to us. It's WNPR 90.1 every Tuesday from 8 to 9 right here on Socrates Speaks. You can take us out with jazz. Oh, because DC White and I are doing jazz in Jackson night starting next month. We're going to be traveling the city, so it won't always be at the same location, but it is set up for October, and we're hoping that Jazz Beautiful with Pam Comfort and Tiger will be our first performers. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you guys. Have a good night, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Take us out.
Cutting
Turn this off.